Back to the Broncast, a podcast all about the Ford Bronco. I'm your host, John Melton.
And I'm Donnie Whiteman.
We are two Bronco enthusiasts who own Broncos. We work on Broncos, and we just love talking about the old Bronco from Generation 1 all the way through Generation 6. Our sponsor for this episode is ARP Fasteners, Automotive Racing Products, and Tom's Off-Road.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about the top end of the engine and
Father's Day. Dude, Father's Day is coming up. It's like, well, I mean, it's Monday. It's coming up on Sunday. So
yeah.
But I mean, did you get my Father's Day present?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
Is it this T-shirt?
Did you get me a Father's Day present?
I got the same thing I got you last year. Nothing.
That's what I got you too. Nothing. Oh man, what have you been working on this week? Anything fun?
Oh, just Gen 6 stuff. I'm wanting to raise the Bronco higher.
Oh,
37s and the lift kit's just not enough. I need more attention. So I'm looking at new wheels and how to get it higher.
Nice.
I really want to see what it's going to take to get 40s under it.
Oh my gosh.
That's kind of my goal. So I've been doing a lot of online research and
man, there's that one company I should have looked at them before this, but they have the yellow Bronco on 40s. Have you seen that one? What's the name of the company? I forget it. But beautiful. It's not ARP. I just said ARP.
No, I can see it too.
Yeah.
Yellow with some blue.
Yeah.
These colors.
Yeah, it is. That's true. That's interesting. But super nice. It's on 40s, and I like the fenders on it. They did some fiberglass fenders that are their own kind of thing, but that's cool. I actually have been filming and working on a project for Onyx Off-Road, the mapping off-road map trails app, and been doing a series of videos, kind of three YouTube people who get the chance to build a vehicle to take on ultimate adventure. It's been pretty
awesome.
fun. Yeah. So, shooting all that stuff, heading to Moab in a little bit couple of weeks, a month now after the Tom's Off-Road event, heading up there to go, film kind of the build challenge. So one guy built a Lexus, Dirt Lifestyle Nate built a Lexus, Bleep and Jeep are building an S10, and then Mischief Maker Holly and Rudy, they're building a Ram Charger. So
oh really?
Yeah, old 80s 87 Ram Charger. So it's been fun. Like I love my job because I get to film really cool stuff and go to Moab and film stuff up there, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Well, like I said, we're coming up on Father's Day, and one of the things that I love, we do the parts corner on the podcast because it's like I love talking about Bronco parts and stuff that other people should buy, and talking about all the stuff that I want to buy. But for this, I did a video a long time ago, Father's Day ideas for the Bronco lover, enthusiast. And my wife actually went and bought me something from my list. So I thought, hey, why don't we kind of give our wives some ideas, but also other wives and other men out there, ideas for Father's Day gifts. So I think we should go back and forth here on these and talk about some ideas for the Bronco lover on Father's Day, Bronco Father's Day lover gift ideas. 2023. Number one for me, not in any particular order, subscription to Bronco Driver Magazine. Man, what a great, if you enjoy Broncos and you just got into Broncos, whether they're the new Bronco or an old classic Bronco, head on over to broncodriver.com. It's a great magazine to get on the regular basis, and it's got a bunch of Bronco news and just fun stuff in it. So that would be my first gift idea for Father's Day.
And mailed to your door.
Yeah, mailed to your door.
Don't have magazines anymore.
I know. That's so true.
It's nice to have a magazine.
Yep.
Mine are always wheels. Actually, I just took my Christmas list and copy and pasted it.
Yeah, I mean,
but
naturally.
Wheels are always at the top of my list. So I'm looking at these Hutchinson wheels for the Gen 6.
Yeah.
They're kind of a retro look, but really cool. This company makes wheels for large trucks.
Okay.
You know, like polished wheels, kind of like Alcoa, but they came out with some wheels for Bronco that are really neat.
Nice.
I saw them at Super Sal.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
yeah.
All right. That's a good one. Man, you went big.
I did.
Yeah. Speaking of Super Celebration, my next one would be tickets to the next Super Celebration, or really any Bronco event. You know, like this is a good one just to say, hey, you know, for Father's Day this year, wife or partner or significant other, I would like to go to this event next year and have them buy the tickets. So, you know, just a subtle hint, just getting that in there.
I'm probably next going to choose a roll cage.
Oh,
So I love the new roll cages. I've been building a couple different kinds, but yeah, I just love roll cages and Broncos.
yeah. Your wife apparently spends a lot more on you for Father's Day. Mine's like, hey, you get a $20 gift. Yours is like, hey, $1,000 gift.
Oh, this is just my list. Your kids are supposed to buy you this stuff. And
Well, my next one in the $20 range, a shirt from Nashville Early Bronco. I mean,
oh, yeah.
we've got some good ones. We'll have the Broncast shirt up soon enough. I got to get that one up on the website. And then this one, 1982 Bullnose. That's a new one that I launched at Super Celebration this year. And then we've got, you know, the Dead Horse shirt and the Nashville Bronco shirt, and then the OG Nash with the Bronco on it. So, yeah, definitely get some swag for your father on Father's Day.
Yeah, I think I want shag carpeting in my Bronco.
In your life.
In my life.
All areas of your life. I want shag carpet.
Yeah, not my early Bronco. I actually really, really want a full-size Bronco, and I got to have shag in it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know, like Elvis's green room.
Yep.
It's the whole 80s thing.
You know what you should do in your 6th gen is you should make a shag carpet that's cut for your roof and then stick it up on the Velcro up on the roof, or that
Is it glue?
Yeah, just glue it up there. That would be, everyone would come into your Bronco like, Donnie, what is going on? All right, I do have an expensive one for mine. The premium seats. I think those Tom's Off-Road has those premium seats, and those things are incredible. I would love to get a set of those here soon. We had Carson on the podcast at Super Celebration, and he was talking about how he drove 6 hours. He just got those seats, drove 6 hours, and he was like, oh, my back doesn't hurt when he got out of his Bronco. And I was like, yep, that is, my back hurts regularly when I get out of my Bronco. But speaking of Tom's Off-Road, they are going to have some Father's Day deals going on. You have to sign up for their newsletter to find out about them. And they're just going to be one-day deals. Like, it's going to be a Father's Day deal that's one day. So if you need to sign up for the Tom's Off-Road newsletter, we'll put a link in the description below. But they should have some good stuff on sale, offering free shipping on stuff. I heard maybe the rock sliders, rock slide engineering side steps are going to be discounted or something. So definitely check that out. All right, what do you got next?
You know, their seats have these new colors too. You know, I don't remember, what's the brown called?
Walnut.
Oh, the walnut's gorgeous. And then they have parchment if you want that real classic look.
That's what I have, the white, parchment.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't say enough about their seats. So for me, that would be it. But because ultimately, like, the Ranger has the Houndstooth.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, one day we might see Houndstooth.
Yep, that'd be cool. That'd be super cool. My next one is the big brake kit. So I'm putting this one on my list, not because I want it, because I actually just did it. I just installed this on my Bronco, and it is now on Tom's website, Tom's Off-Road. It's their big brake kit. And this thing is awesome. It is super beefy, and it's a big old disc brake rotor, and man, stops really, really well. So definitely a cool kit to get. I'm glad I did it. But it doesn't fit a 15-inch wheel. So keep that in mind. Yeah, those brakes are awesome.
I think my next thing is, I'm an engine guy. So the outside of the truck could be caked in mud from 4 months, but when you open the hood, the engine bay is going to be cleaned.
Nice.
No mud allowed. But I love this dress-up kit from ARP. It's called an Engine and Accessory Fastener Kit for 302 or 289. And I like the stainless steel, the polished stainless, but this kit has every bolt that you need in one part number. So to do the engine, for the intake, for the timing cover on the front, it has carburetor studs, it has exhaust manifold bolts. I mean, it has oil pan bolts, it has everything. So when you're done, you don't see any rusty bolts. So it's cool. It's the entire thing. I don't know how much it is, but I know that it's just one kit for 302. You just order it and it all comes, and
that's
it's got
awesome.
Oil pump bolts,
yeah,
water pump. I mean, everything.
That's a good, yeah, that should be a good first step for someone wanting to just upgrade something on their engine. That's a good place to start for sure. Yeah. All right. My last one is kind of a gas card and a 6-pack of beer. I mean, I feel like that's the perfect Father's Day gift. Here's a gas card because you should go drive your Bronco, but it's going to guzzle. It's going to just guzzle gas because that's what mine does. And a 6-pack of beer, not to drink and drive, obviously.
But to guzzle later.
Yeah. So after you've driven and you're hot and sweaty, then come back and sit in the garage and have a couple adult beverages, if you will. We don't condone drinking, but yeah. So those are my Father's Day gift ideas. Do you have any more on there?
None that I should probably share. Tattoo.
Oh, what is this tattoo?
It's a Bronco tattoo.
Bronco tattoo.
We have that new T-shirt with the grill on it. Our club does.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
Only the headlights are
nipple to nipple.
Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't even have to wear a shirt.
Yeah.
You just put Tennessee Broncos right across my chest.
That's right. Oh man, that's cool. I saw one guy has the grill on his forearm, and I thought, that's a cool idea.
Actually,
yeah. Mike Clouds, actually. So I was like, that's a cool one for sure. Yeah, I would do that. Nice. Well, moving on through our podcast episode today, we're talking engine stuff again. So again, we're going to try to keep this light, keep it on the light side. So some of you guys might be like, oh, I know all this stuff, but some of you may be learning this for the first time. But we also don't want to go so deep into stuff that it becomes boring, because Donnie and I we could make it super boring and, just go through every detail, and nobody wants that.
We can go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. So we're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it high level. But if you hear something that you have a question about, or you're just like, hey, I'd love to know more information about this, shoot us an email, questions@thebroncast.com. That's questions, questions at the Broncast, TheBroncast.com.
Can you repeat that? Because you said QUS.
QUES. So that's questions, QUESTIONS at the Broncast, TheBroncast.com.
I can't do that part because I can't spell. So you always have to do it.
But you're smarter than a fifth grader that we found out. You were smarter than me.
So one of the things that we want to talk about is top end and stuff. But I thought this was interesting first. It's on the whole buy or build subject matter. You can buy crate engines and there are lots of Scouts and Jeeps out there with LSs in them, but do not put an LS in your Bronco.
That's a no-no.
We will unfriend you. But it's funny. Chevrolet was smart though. When they came up with their Chevrolet Performance Crate program, their tagline was put an LS in anything. It was LS anything.
LS swap the world.
And then Ford was like, they were putting LSs in all the 32s and all Fords and pickup trucks and everything. So Ford came back and built up their Ford Performance, and their campaign was put a Ford in a Ford. I'm like, come on, guys, that's all you got.
Yeah.
But the next campaign I thought was great. It's that Calvin sticker of him peeing on a Chevy bow tie. So I thought Ford hit a winner with that one.
Yep. That was
Restored my faith in marketing.
Well, let's talk about the top end. We've got the engine's camshafts and 2 cylinder heads bolt on top of the bottom end. So basically, we've got making that V shape to our V8 engine. So how many cylinders are in a V8 engine?
Is this a trick question?
It's a trick question.
8.
There you go. V8. Isn't that right? 8 cylinders.
That's correct. Unless it's only running on 6 or 7.
Yeah, unless it was my Bronco a couple weeks ago.
Two cylinders aren't firing.
Before you can even put the heads on, you have to install the camshaft into your engine's block if it's an old school Bronco engine. So kind of all works together. We talked about the bottom end last time and talking about more of the top end. But what about camshafts?
Well, first of all, the Bronco it's a truck. It needs what's called a torque profile on a camshaft. So the camshaft essentially times the engine. The crankshaft and the camshaft are timed together with a timing set or a gear and chain. But basically, if you have a Mustang and you want to go fast, you have a camshaft that lets your engine rev at 7,000 RPMs. And if you have a Bronco or a 4-wheel drive truck, you want a camshaft that's not designed to do that. It's designed for torque, to move this truck, a heavy truck, up a hill, maybe with a load. Yeah. So you need what's called a torque profile camshaft. So a lot of people, I feel like a lot of the Broncos that are being sold now or that we've seen come through the shop, they've got Mustang engines in them and high performance engines that don't really work well with the truck. They make them shift really hard and they're just not fun to drive. Whereas if you have a really smooth running engine that has a lot of low end torque, the truck's a blast to drive.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to climb anything.
The big camshafts are very noticeable. It's the blip, 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 like Harley Davidson, sounding kind of thing. But those aren't great for cruising around town. Those aren't great for, just kind of putzing around and especially in a Bronco. Like you want something with that mild camshaft. And when you look at, I know we've all watched Engine Masters on Motor Trend where they do the horsepower tests and see what it is. Well, they have the horsepower, but they also have the torque curve. And with a Bronco, that torque curve should go up pretty quickly and then just kind of not flatline, but it, like with a race car or, a Mustang, it kind of curves all the way and you get your peak torque at 8,000 RPM. But, and when your horsepower, is in that range too. But with a Bronco, you kind of want it, 2,500 is kind of where your peak torque starts. Because that's really what you're doing. Yeah. You're hauling a load and you're getting that, that good power out of the engine to move a load. And your Bronco needs more torque than it does horsepower. Those big wheels, the 4-wheel drive, the trails, like that's what you want. You want that torque. You don't necessarily want horsepower.
Right. And, it was designed for that originally. So as you add things like bigger wheels and lift kits, you need more torque. So those high horsepower or high RPM camshafts are, great if you want to go drag racing, and you're going to go 0 to 120. But if you're going to climb stuff, you want this thing called an RV profile cam. It's basically the same camshaft that they put in RVs, campers that, are using in the old days. They had the inline 6 cylinders in them. And how do you move a giant camper with an inline 6, a small 170 cubic inch engine? Well, you change the cam profile and you make it produce just torque, and you don't worry about how many RPMs it turns.
Interesting.
And so a Bronco camshaft, a lot of people refer to as an RV profile camshaft.
Yeah, when I was buying, I swapped the cam in my 302, and when I was buying it, I kept seeing the RV. Everyone said RV. And I didn't understand what that was until right now. That's cool.
I feel bad for a lot of the people that bring their trucks by, and I want to tell them, well, you either need to rebuild this engine back to a Bronco engine or, get another one. But, you'd have to pull the camshaft off, and then you have to build everything around that profile. So it'd probably need new heads, and you start needing all this stuff. Take the headers off, take the high-rise intake off, and it's kind of bad news that you don't want to give them. But you can't fix it from shifting hard when it's got a racing Mustang engine in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the flip side of that is they don't make much vacuum, so they don't create the boost that you need, the vacuum in the boost in your breaker. So now you don't have any brakes either. So you got this engine that'll go, 100 miles an hour, and you got zero brakes because it makes zero boost because, the idle's just off. It's just not designed correctly at all for a Bronco.
Yeah. What would you look for in a camshaft? Like, obviously looking for an RV. But what would you like? Is there anything that you would look for when you're trying to purchase a camshaft for a Bronco other than just looking for an RV cam?
Well, you want to match the cam with the engine heads that you put on it. So, if you're going to upgrade from the original flat tappet solid lifter setup, then you need to go with a match, a roller cam is what they call it, with hydraulic lifters and heads that go with that whole package. So, you kind of decide. So we're building two engines in June, and one is a flat tappet and one is a roller, and we're going to dyno them both.
Nice.
And just see, with good parts, how much more does the other cam. We know it'll run cooler, flow more water, last 200,000 miles longer.
Yeah.
A rebuild on an original style engine, you've got a whole break-in period that you don't have with the modern engine. So one will last 100,000 miles, one will last 300,000 miles.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when I was buying my camshaft, all I kept looking at was the lobe. Is that what it is? Like that's all everyone told me to look for was just, look at your lobe, and that, which is that blah, 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 blah of the engine. Is there anything else that you look at?
Well, camshafts are cool. If you just look at one out of an engine, it's 20 some inches long, and it's got these like eggs all the way down it. And that's the lobe on the camshaft. And the shape of that top of the egg, the pointy part, is how far it's going to open the valve. So that's your lift. And then you have duration. So the very top of that has to do with the curve on how long that valve stays open. So if it's real pointy, it's going to open and close real quick as it rolls around to the valve seat. So that's probably more information than people want to know. But yeah, so a nice, smooth idling, not a high lobe cam, it's just going to produce really like sewing machine smoothness, will make the most torque.
Gotcha.
And then, if you get these really pointy eggs, you've got a drag racing cam, and it's going to make that lump and all that noise and use a ton of fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, all they want to do is go fast. So, but, so the camshafts are kind of rated in like three categories. You got stock, you've got mild, and then you've got performance or aggressive. So you can put a mild camshaft in a Bronco and it'll work great, and you'll get a bit of that lump, but without it can still be a truck camshaft.
Nice. But what you were talking about was heads really make a big difference. And we're talking about the top end. And so that's really the thing where if you want to open up your engine a whole lot more, then looking at a good set of heads is really going to change what your torque of your engine can do. Yeah,
and you can rebuild your cast iron heads, or you can buy some aftermarket heads, and they range. You can pay anywhere from $400 for a head up to $1,200 for a head. So I recommend the AFR heads that are made in the United States. If you're going to do a nice roller cam conversion and modernize your engine, Summit Racing has them, and they're called Renegade small block Ford, so SBF Renegade. If you look it up, and it's 165 cc.
Wow.
They make them 225 cc's, which is a lot of fuel and air. That means that you can go higher compression and put a ton of fuel and air in it, and a Bronco doesn't need any of that. So ironically, you're going to be on the very bottom end of the head as far as how much they cost and how much fuel they flow. So this AFR is the brand, and it's a 165cc head, and it's called a Renegade. And it's what we're going to be using on all of our engine builds. It's an aluminum head too, so
Nice.
you get all the benefits of a new engine that looks completely original, and because you can paint the heads blue and you'd never know the difference.
So what was cool was when I took my heads off, I had never really kind of looked at how all of that works. And you talking about, the lobe and, the lobe of the camshaft. I took my heads off, cleaned up the valves and cleaned all that up, and was explaining it to my son, just how the head works. Cause he's like, what are you doing? What is this? What part have you just taken off your Bronco? So I was able to explain to him, this is the intake valve and this is the exhaust valve. So this one opens to allow fuel and air to come into the piston chamber. And then once that it gets ignited by the spark plug, it explodes and pushes the piston down, and the piston comes back up, and the exhaust valve opens and lets all that exhaust out. And so it was cool, like seeing that light bulb moment for him go off. But it was also that light bulb moment for me of just how important the heads are. And looking at it and going, wait, the more this can flow, the more fuel and air I can get in here, the harder a push I can get down, and the more compression I can get, the more, it's like you just start to see it all when you take it all apart and you understand it just that little bit better to kind of help you understand, oh yeah, that's how that works. And that's why it all works together.
And the timing of those intake valves opening and then closing, the piston coming up, and then compressing everything, the spark igniting and exploding, and the piston going down. That is what the 4 strokes in the 4-stroke process.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is that all of that is controlled by the camshaft. Like how far that valve opens has to do with how tall the egg is on the lobe.
Yep.
And then how long it stays open is whether it's a real rounded at the top. That's called the duration. So, But yeah, the camshaft and the head really are how you make all your power in an engine. The rest of the engine's pretty much the same. It has been for 100 years.
Yeah. It kind of feels like, when you've never taken apart an engine, it's just like Chinese. It's like, I don't understand this. This is a language I don't understand. And so that's kind of, why we're doing this, just kind of trying to help people, kind of demystify some of the engine complications of it, because it really is. It's Legos for adults.
Yeah. And, so when you have to make that decision, do you rebuild or do you buy a replacement engine? How crazy do you get with that? Or do you do Coyote? Also, those heads are totally different. They have camshafts in the head instead of in the middle of the block, in the bottom end of the block. So they've moved it.
That's what you call a DOHC, a dual overhead cam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's just, you can put 600 horsepower in your Bronco. You don't really need it. It's the thing to do if you want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. But even that's why they call out the difference between a Mustang Coyote and a F-150 Coyote. It's because of those cams. It's a different lobe, it's a different lift, it's a different duration. All that stuff is different. Even though, yes, it's a Coyote, you want to know what Coyote, like where'd you pull that Coyote from? Is it the F-150 or was it the Mustang? But same thing with the 302, with the 5.0, the old fuel injection 5.0s. You want to make sure that you're not getting a Mustang 5.0 that, just sitting in a junkyard, but you get one from an Expedition or an Explorer or a Bronco, or, it's like paying attention to that stuff. It does make a difference.
We had a customer we just built the body for the truck, but he just purchased a brand new Coyote, and it was out of a car. It would have been a lot better buying one out of a truck.
Yep.
So everything's better. He got a transmission with it. Well, again, the transmission is geared for a Mustang, and he really wanted the truck transmission. And maybe could have gotten the transfer case with it. I don't know.
Yeah. 4-wheel drive. Yep. Well, there you go. Little engine, I don't know, 101, 103, wherever we're at. Talking about the top end. Next time we'll do this. May not be next episode, but next time we'll talk about part 3 of engine building, mixing the fuel, air, and spark all together. We kind of teased it a little bit, but then comparing carbureted engines versus EFI. I'm an EFI guy.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see the difference. I'm an EFI guy just because it's easy, but yeah.
Well, and that's a very popular thing to do to a vintage Bronco. If you got a good engine, is just to switch it over to EFI. And on the coldest of days, we did one this winter, and I think it was 8 degrees, and I didn't bring it inside until like 11 p.m. because I wanted to see how it would start.
Yep.
Make sure it's working right. And it started like my brand new Bronco. Like it didn't go through the choke and the whole process, and it acted like a brand new vehicle, but it was actually a vintage engine. So that's what EFI will do for your truck. But what's funny is our part 1 was bottom end, our part 2 was top end, and then fuel, air, and torque. That's what goes on top of the top end.
Yeah. It's above
not to make it confusing,
end.
but yeah.
It's the third part on top of
it's like the cake. This is the very top of the cake.
Yeah. We got the bottom layer, then the top layer, and then the frosting. It's the frosting.
Yeah.
It's the 2 people on top that are kissing.
Fuel and air.
Fuel and air. Marriage match made in heaven.
Oh, I know that sound.
Oh, I know that sound.
Someone's out there starting my truck up.
That's the sound of a giveaway.
Well, yeah, that's my new exhaust, my Gen 6 Bold Performance exhaust, which I absolutely love. Sounds great. My truck's got a growl. And yeah, now it sounds as cool as it looks.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not noisy. I love it.
Nice. Well, yeah, we've been talking about it the last couple of weeks. We're giving away a Bold Axleback exhaust kit from Bold Performance. This thing is awesome. Sorry if you're an early Bronco guy, you don't get one. But for you Gen 6 new Bronco owners, this is for you. So we've been doing this a little bit differently. What you got to do is you got to click the link in the description. You got to go there and enter to win on the Tom's Off-Road website. Now, you can get more entries if you do stuff like following my YouTube channel, following Tom's YouTube channel, following Tom's Instagram page, and following Bold Performance Instagram page. All of those get you some extra entries. Now, this is closing. What is the release date of this episode? June 12th. So this is going to close this Friday on June 16th. So that's the last time you get a chance to win this Bold exhaust. But here's the deal. In our next episode, we are doing a whole nother giveaway. And it's going to be just as fantastic. And yes, it will include some of you early Bronco guys. And instead of giving away a part, I think we're just going to give away some of Tom's off-road money. So
even better.
Yeah. So stick around for that for sure. And I'm actually excited about this. Our next episode is actually talking about some full-size stuff, some full-size fun.
Yeah, I am so excited about this. You and I have been talking about full-size trucks, and we kind of ignore them, but we both want one.
Yeah.
We admitted it. We finally went and saw our psychiatrist, and they said, you should do something about this.
Do something.
And so, yeah, we got big news. Don't want to give anything away, but next week's episode will be full size.
It will be full size. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.